So welcome to the center of Phnom Penh, Cambodia. The electricity, the lines here are amazing. Uh, these are these are two nice apartments, and this is literally the center, probably like the best spot to live, I would say, in the middle of Phnom Penh. Uh, the title of this video has to be How China is Colonizing Cambodia. So this is the center. There's the Shangri-La and some of the best apartments. They're all in this area. And yeah, this is basically the center of the city. The Russian embassy is right there. Just so you can pinpoint where I am on the map. And I want to explain how China is colonizing Cambodia. Now, just a bit of context here is Cambodia is one of China's best friends in this sort of area. Cambodia is next to Vietnam and Thailand. Laos is just north of it. Laos has a tiny population and it's basically being totally controlled by China as it is. And there's a whole bunch of like debt trap diplomacy going on here in Cambodia as well, where they the Chinese give them loans because they don't have any other meaningful way of making money here. So they give them loans to build infrastructure projects, and they can't pay it back, so they don't have any real meaningful way to make money. And then China will eventually come and take that infrastructure. One of those things that they're taking is a port. They've built a port and a canal. They're digging the Cambodian canal. You can Google it. All that was being built with Chinese money. The loans have dried up at the moment. And that's only because they've got what they needed. They wanted the ports to be built. Now, the biggest problem, I would say, for China when they're trying to colonize a country is if you have a young demographic that can push back, young, healthy, fit demography that is highly nationalistic. Let me see if I can see a Cambodian flag around here. There's got to be a Cambodian flag somewhere. There's a lot of, I can't actually see it. Oh yeah, there's on the corner there, that shop on the corner there, there's a Cambodian flag, see it? A lot of these shops are like Chinese owned. You can see the lantern there. So the population here is 18 million. Young demographic, everyone's under 40, 35 years old. Extremely young. Uneducated. Nationalistic. Any country it'll be a pain in the butt to try and colonize this country with such a young demography, right? And so what China's done is, see this building here, EDM? You can see that building there. It looks very similar to this one here, EDM9. You can see it? And over there it says Ultra. Same sort of building. And in between, they're probably going to build EDM 10. And so there's at least 10 of these EDMs and there's Ultras. And can you see the sparkle? There's a bit of a sparkle there. That's another one of these buildings. And they look like nightclubs, don't they? It looks like they're building nightclubs. This building here, that's another one. Actually, damn, this one right here. I can't even read it, but you know what it is. It's just basically another one of these nightclubs. How are they filling all of these nightclubs up? They're not real nightclubs, that's why. And on the other side, there's another one over there. And they're big, beautiful, look at it from the front. Big, beautiful dance floors and everything. So what's going on here? Okay, so what you need to do is to colonize the country, you need to move millions of Chinese to a country, right? That's like basically the first thing that you need to do. And the last thing you want is Chinese men marrying the locals and having children with the people you're trying to colonize. You need to separate them. And you need to make sure that you weaken the local people as much as possible. And they're young. They're young, and there's lots of young, cute girls here. The last thing you want is Chinese men coming here to colonize and getting a little bit horny, marrying a local, and then, when shit hits the fan later on and they have to really move in, you've got some like men here that are pushing back a little bit. You want the Chinese men that are coming here to continue to help to colonize the country. So what you do is you set up all these restaurants here, all over the place. The entire city is flooded with these restaurants that are out the front of these quote unquote nightclubs. And these nightclubs are actually just high-end prostitution bars. And so what they're doing is they're basically going out into the provinces all over the place, and they're recruiting Cambodian women to become hookers, prostitutes, whores. And the Chinese guys, they come here, they've got a lot of money, and it's dirt cheap for them to basically have sex with a different Cambodian girl every single day of the week. The whole place is cheap enough as it is, but also it's dirt cheap just to sleep with a hooker every day too. So what you're doing by turning girls into hookers and giving them some money is you're basically giving more money to basically the most useless demographic in society. No offense, ladies, but you guys are, especially when you're trying to defend the country from being colonized. So they have more buying power, more say, and you're damaging them and preventing them at their youngest and best, 18 through to 25 or 30. You're damaging them and making them sell their bodies for sex. And at the end of that, that period where no one wants to pay for them anymore. See, look, that's a Bentley. That's a legit Bentley. That's a Bentley in Cambodia. Hopefully it's not too windy. That's a Bentley in Cambodia. So, yeah, it's a nice Bentley. Like, look at that too. Look at this. Look at that. Massive Jeep. You basically buy that apartment with that Bentley. But, what happens is you build a bunch of nightclubs and you turn the young, cute Cambodian girl, you turn them into whores. You damage their brains, because I don't know a rational whore. I've never heard of one. I've never heard of a girl spending her youth as a hooker, coming out with a PhD and changing the world. It just doesn't happen. They come out damaged. They don't end up reproducing, having children. Look, Range Rover, like the best cars are all in this area. And yeah, this is you can see it. There's another big nightclub there. And so I've met some of the Chinese guys, and they have nothing but contempt for the local people and the local girls. They definitely don't want to date or marry a local girl. Hell no. They have nothing but contempt for the locals because they're colonizing the country. See, there's another nightclub. See the same sort of decor, the gold over the top of it. So they have nothing but contempt for the locals. And the goal is to not just meet the needs of the Chinese guys that are coming here to colonize, but it's also to prevent the locals from reproducing, because you pick out the best, most beautiful girls at their youngest and hottest, and you damage them by just, making them sell their bodies for sex until their late 20s or early 30s, they're not going to have kids. They're going to waste that money once they get it, and then you're going to damage the demographics of Cambodians. And so it's multi-purposed. The other aspect of it is that these nightclubs, the number one the most foreign direct investment. Sorry, I can't even speak. Foreign direct investment number one comes from China into Cambodia. And you look at it on paper, you're like, wow, they're investing, great. But what if you just invest in a structure that is designed to destroy the demography of a country, so that in like 20, 30 years, you can just waltz all in, and it's an aging population without any young kids left, because you've basically turned, with cash and all your foreign direct investment, all of the women into whores, and destroyed the next generation. Also, like, if a whore has children, like my mum was basically one. She was a scumbag. Still is a scumbag. Damaged woman. You destroy the lives of the children. Prostitution isn't necessarily that good for the brains of women at all. It's just not. And so what you do is you pretend that you're helping a country out with foreign direct investment, which is designed to damage the demographics of the country by turning all of the youngest, most beautiful Cambodian women into whores and preventing them from having kids. You can't have kids if you're a whore, can you? You got to work. Also, what you do is you say that you're helping them out by helping them build infrastructure that they don't, you can argue that they need it, but they're not really ready for it. But really, it's just because you need it. And you give them a debt, and then you make them pay for infrastructure that you are going to come back and get in 30 years, while damaging the demographics of the country by turning all the women into whores. So this 18 million as a population might shrink in the next 30 years. And some of the biggest companies here, which are kind of funded by Chinese investment as well, did you know that there's no age limit to smoking and drinking in Cambodia? That's right. Welcome to Cambodia. If you're a 5-year-old who wants to start drinking and smoking, you can legally. There is no age limit to drinking or smoking. You can drink and smoke at the same time at 3 years old if you have the cash, or your parents are stupid enough to give you, alcohol and cigarettes. And so, basically, what they're doing is they're, making sure that the average male in the country has a smoking and drinking problem, and they can start them early. So many Cambodians smoke and drink. They're making sure that the women are turned into whores while they colonize in the country, so they don't reproduce and have proper families, and breaking up the family unit. And the math is real simple. China will have the ability to totally control this country in about 30 years. Real simple math, while simultaneously making money to do so. It's amazing. It's a well put together structure that they've figured out here. It's really well put together. And so then, next to Cambodia, Thailand has about 60 million. On the other side, Vietnam has 100 million. And Cambodia's got such a small population. And if you've got the majority of the cash, you can come in and have a 1% that basically control the country from within, take over the port, use the port as a backup or intelligence gathering sort of port. There's the Cambodian Canal, and basically control the country in a weakened state, while men, when they reach their 50s and 60s, are dying from lung cancer, or they're just too drunk every day to see what's going on around them, and the women aren't having kids. It's quite a simple strategy that they're using, and from what I can see, it's very effective. So that's my take. That's one of my takes. I've got a lot more to report.